It is time for...
This is Pimp My Portfolio. Pimp My Portfolio.
That's right, it is Pimp My Portfolio, the time we bring in an expert and a community member to get their portfolio pimped. And it is our pleasure to welcome our expert to the studio, Adam Dawes.
Great to be here, guys.
And our Equity Mates community member, Richard. Richard, welcome to Equity Mates.
Hi guys, how you doing?
We're very well. We're very excited for this one. So to kick things off, Ren, what does Richard's portfolio look like?
Yeah, so it looks like we've got a portfolio of ETFs here. A number of Vanguard ETFs, the Aussie Shares High Yield, Aussie Shares, Diversified Growth, Diversified High Growth. That fund is also held off market, the High Growth Index Fund, the Vanguard MSCI Index International, and then finally an iShares ETF, S&P 500 ETF. So there's 7 ETFs. And then there's one individual stock holding, and that's ResMed, which is just shy of 10% of the portfolio. So, Dawsey, what do you think?
Well, look, I think, Richard, you've got a good portfolio here, but we're going to give it a name of a double up. I think you're sort of doubling up on the ETFs that you've got in there. Did you just sort of choose these sort of at random, or are you sort of, there's some plan behind this?
It's just like so as young, I watch a lot of like podcast and a lot of recommendation on YouTube. So that's why I'm thinking that as I'm young, I should take risks. So that's why I start to like purchase some of the ETF and see how it's go.
Yeah.
But right now, as I go through my portfolio, I think it's kind of be overlapping like some of them. So that's what I'm saying.
It's definitely overlapping and just taking the two. So I really like Vanguard as an ETF provider. They have very low MERs, MER meaning management expense ratios. So they are some of the lowest in the market. So you're doing very well by keeping with the Vanguard theme there. But then also you've got, the Australian high shares yield as well as the Australian shares. Now, both of those ETFs will have BHP, Commonwealth Bank, Woolworths, and all of those. So you've sort of doubled up on those two. By buying two different ETFs, you're still doubling up on the individual stocks that are inside of that. So I think that's something that you need to look at. And then obviously the Vanguard Diversified Growth and the high growth side of things, that's obviously, you're wanting to grow the portfolio. So I think that's in the right space. That looks good. But over then again, you with the diversified growth, you're doubling up again in each individual sector. So you need to look at the portfolio, especially ETFs. You can go online and do ETF fact sheet, and you actually look at the fact sheet that the ETF, so Vanguard VAS, and look at the fact sheet, and it'll give you all of the holdings that you've got in there. And so what I'd recommend is that you print out or looking at on the screen of the different ETFs that you've got and seeing your double ups there, seeing how those weightings are going to be affected. And I think that's really, really important to start with. Really like ResMed, I think you'll do okay. I suspect you're in profit on ResMed, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, good. So keep that. So that's fine. And certainly the iShares S&P 500, you probably would have done quite well. How long have you held that one for?
Which one is that?
IVV.
I've been holding it probably around 4 or 5 months already.
Okay, so you've made some money. Yeah, that's been good. So that's been good for you. But I would definitely look at which one would you choose? I mean, I suspect that you're sort of quite young still. So the high growth, the Vanguard Diversified High Growth Fund is probably better for you because you've got time for it to grow. But also if we have a bit of a blip in the market, you got time to make that back. And potentially if you do look into the high growth side of things, the Vanguard, which is the VDHG, you look into that, it will then have subsectors or asset allocation. So Ren, we were talking about it before, it's got 30% Aussie.
Yeah, about 30% Aussie, about then 40% global shares.
Yeah.
It's got a little allocation to small companies and emerging markets, and then some fixed income as well.
So that makes sense to me with a lower balance of a portfolio is to basically selling some of these other ones and just putting it into that high growth side of things. That will give you more money in one ETF, and that'll allow the ETF to then to grow over time. And I think that's probably better than having these sort of different shares all doubling up and overlaying. And then we like it to what's called the core versus satellite. You got to have the core portfolio, which could be the diversified high growth side of things. And then you can have some fun with some speculatives or some stuff on the outside if you're putting more money into the market on a regular basis.
Richard, you're at uni, right? You're very, you said you're young. That's right. You're at uni, and are you just putting a bit of money in each week or each fortnight? How are you approaching building the portfolio?
It's just like 50% of my income will go toward ETF and fund. Fortnight and monthly is my currently investment right now. I got two broker. One is Common Sense, and second thing is Vanguard. So the Vanguard would be fortnight, but Common Sense is gonna be like the monthly investment.
Nice.
I think, Richard, it looks like you're doing a lot of things right. Like you're starting young, you're investing 50% of your income. Like that's great.
Yeah.
And you're investing regularly, fortnightly or monthly. So I think there's a lot of great things there with your personal finance habits. One thing that people often get tripped up on is they feel like they need a lot of different lines in their portfolio.
Yeah.
And it makes sense
Definitely.
because we always hear about needing diversification. But the great thing with these ETFs is that they are diversified themselves. So, you don't feel like you need 6 or 7 ETFs to be diversified. If you get some of these ETFs are diversified enough, and the one that Adam was talking about, VDHG, you've got global stocks, you've got diversification across asset classes. There's plenty of diversification built into that product. Yeah.
And Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more beneficial more often than not to get a reasonable, $5,000 to $10,000 position in VDHG than multiple little $500 positions all over the place.
And then having that regular contribution strategy that you're doing, Richard, is that when markets are up, you're continuing to contribute. And then when markets are down, you're continuing to contribute. So over the longer period, you get a better portfolio with better cost bases going forward. So, you're doing it right. It's just that you've got these sort of mismatch of ETFs in there. And I think cleaning that up will do better for you in the long run.
Love it. Well, Richard, I hope Adam's been able to provide some general advice there for you that will help you clean up the portfolio and put you in a better position. But as Ren said, I think there's so many things that you're doing right. We look at ourselves when we were in our 20s. We definitely weren't doing this.
Putting 50% of our income
50% of our income to definitely go into other things. So well done. And I hope you got something out of today's session.
Yep, definitely. To be honest, that's a good guy for me right now.
Awesome.
I watch a lot of ETF, a lot of YouTube videos because I don't know exactly what should I focus on right now.
Well, I think, as Adam was saying, there's nothing wrong with focusing on one of them that's in your portfolio at the moment, VDHG, but you're definitely on the right track. So it's all there in front of you.
Yeah. All the best with it, Richard. Good luck.
All right. Oh, good guy.
If you'd like to submit your portfolio, just like Richard did, then head to equitymates.com/contact and there'll be a section for Pimp My Portfolio. And if you'd like to sit down with Adam Dawes, head to equitymates.com/advice and tick the Adam Dawes box and we'll make sure we connect him with you. But Adam, as always, absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great to be here, guys.